Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Good evening in Tokyo. It's 10:31. Cool. PM. Let's see now. Let's where we are today. Let's see. Is any news? It's been a quiet week. Not. Let's see what's going on. The dollar seems to be relatively stable. You can see up on J4X, it's just basically stalled there. Do I have the right up there? Yes, I do. You can see it's. Let's see. That is the daily. What's going on there? Let me just double check something here. Okay, so that's just missing a bunch of data. So let's just change that. So the March contract is probably expired or something like that. Let's go to. Let's change the contract in there. There's no new contract? Wait a second. How did I do that wrong? Let's add the futures contract. DX. DX. Enter. And let's see. M for June. That makes sense. Okay. Oh, what have we got there? Is that a continuous contract? That would be nice also. So let's go with that. Add. Okay. And so the next one is a September contract. So they've got this futures contract now set like the way the S&Ps are. Okay. We just started using this particular symbol. Close. And change that. Oh no, now it's a reappearing. Okay, now I see it. Okay, let's go with the June contract. No, wait a minute. Where did the June contract go? That's September. Ah! Let's try that again, traders. Let's see. Add symbol again. Futures. DX. Look up. And not up in the sky in case it's raining. Let's see. M like in Mary. There it is. Excellent. That's June. There we go. Alright, now. Okay, close. And there it is. And here it comes. This should be interesting. There you go. All right, and you can see here, dollar index moving back up again, just like it is on J4X there. That is good. Good. Close. As you can see here also on the weekly, it is still pushing on the upside also. So we're getting ready to go back into the buy there. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, so it went into the buy there and went all the way to here because it was a red and green. Then we went into the sell here, a little rush towards the dollar. And as you can see right there today, the dollar is down just a little bit from yesterday's pop up. At the same time, when we quickly jump over for fun to the euro, you see the euro is doing the right thing too. It's moving up against the dollar right there, just because we just saw on the dollar index itself. There it is. It is heading down. And that's the way we try to read these things here. It seems like, again, there doesn't seem to be, at least I don't see a great calamity out of this. I just see a lot of noise. A lot of smoke, a lot of noise, but I don't see fire. That's the problem. Now they're gonna have to figure out what went wrong and exactly, but it's all politics, and that's all it is at this point. They wouldn't sell, SVB on Sunday. And now they're saying they're going to auction it next Sunday. It's because the bank itself is part of the Democrat Party. And matter of fact, the stories are coming out now that Governor Newsom from California, where the bank is, was demanding for a bailout. And now we find out he has 3 different accounts there. So, that just shows you, this is just a Democrat problem. The Democrat Party, they're one of their main banks that they keep their money in fell apart from. I understand they gave $73.4 million to Black Lives Matter. It's all kinds of weird donations to weird things, lending money to all kinds of green concepts that lose money, so forth and so on. But the tech side of it is pretty good. It's an incubation type situation where it grows tech companies or helps growing tech companies, that type of thing. So the money is there. They just invested wrong. They were playing short end against long end, and long end won, and short end lost. And so if they hold on to the position, the money is there. It will mature because they're bonds. It's not like that Freedom guy, the one at FTX, I guess it is. Where there's billions and billions missing, and he was also part of. I'm sure he had capital there too. He's part of that gang. So what you're really seeing is a problem with the Democrat Party. They're trying to preserve something that can't be preserved, and they don't want just anybody to buy it. They want somebody of their own ilk, and I understand all that. That makes total sense. So, but the media is not going to report it in that fashion. They're going to try to blame things like, now what in Blaze was that? Microsoft. Why did you pop up? There we are. The bigger question is, why are we getting, all this crazy noise? And it's like I said, it's all smoke and noise, but I don't see fire. That's what it comes down to. Now, do we see stocks having problems? Of course. Do we see other banks and regional banks having problems? Of course. But they're all going to bounce back again. It'll all straighten out. Because, again, the money is there. It's just a matter of, just what we refer to in trading as a backstop. It's not a bailout as much as a backstop. What happens is that you have this equity, but you can't access it now, but you will be able to access it in the future. And it's an exact amount. And it's not speculative of how much you'll be able to access. You'll be able to access all of it. It'll come to maturity. That's what it's called, basically. It'll come to maturity, just like an option expiring. So, anyhow, that's all the noise. And then we see, for any listeners here, everybody knows we've talked about Credit Suisse now since, I don't know. Last year we talked about it. We talked about the swaps that the Federal Reserve were doing to preserve it and so forth. And now they've come up with the real price tag. $54 billion really cleans it all up. So the Swiss National Bank. And let's go over to the Swiss real quick. Because I noticed after they announced that they were doing that, they took that currency and whooped it. Look at that move. They just, once they made that announcement, that currency went flying up like that. And right there, you can see that. It was just like zoom. Let's see how it looks on J4X there. Where are you? You're here somewhere. Right there. There we go. So that is the noise out of this whole thing. Is that combined with the political end of it, where they need to prop up their own, where they keep their capital. And like I said, the capital's there. It just has to come to maturity. Here you saw once they gave out the $54 billion in loan to Credit Suisse, the currency went flying up, whereas it had been heading down. And today you can see it's starting to get back into the rhythm again. It'll come back down again. It really kind of reflects how thin the currency market has become. I think that is one of the situations, is that we don't have as many trading desks as we used to, and not as many institutions trading currencies. So I think we've lost 2/3 of them. And matter of fact, we used to show on J4X the volume, how the volume had dropped over 60% with quantitative easing, and the dismantling of trading desks all around the world. In other words, the bailing out of the global financial system back in 2008 when it went bankrupt, and most people don't realize it went bankrupt because the central banks bailed it out. Hey, 47, where you been? Welcome to the hood. Oh, well, that's so nice. Thank you. It's I appreciate that. That's a nice compliment. Yeah, it might be a crazy sounding thing that I talk about, but then when you go back and look at the videos, usually we're pretty much on the target. Usually the truth is always right in front of our faces, and people just don't want to accept it. That seems to be the nature of it all. So at this point, I'd imagine things are going to start to calm down. I guess the biggest noise we have today is what the ECB is supposed to come out with their interest rate. And they must have been working on this, not just the ECB, but I mean, all the central banks and the Federal Reserve, they must have been discussing this now for days. So there's obviously a new policy of some form going to develop over the next few hours that we're going to start to see a piece of. I myself would love to see them all raise rates a quarter percentage point and announce at the same time that they're going to sit back and work on other ways to reduce the inflation. I think that, just raising interest rates doesn't stop inflation. It takes time. You can see they've been raising rates, and we've gone from 1.5% in interest, or inflation. No, 1.5. No, we went to almost 10 in inflation, and we're stuck on the 6. It's backed off a little bit because they just don't have the. We've raised rates to the point where it's damaged the economy to slow it down. Now the trick is to keep the economy running and reduce the inflation, which is pretty much just government policy. That's all it is. I was thinking about that yesterday, is that pretty much inflation, and I always say it here on the webinar, pretty much inflation is a basis of bad or poor governance by the government, not necessarily anything else. In other words, they allow too much cash to go into the system, and they refuse to pull it out, keep interest rates at, how many years did I make? 47. How many years did I make a joke about minus interest rates, where trillions, not billions, not millions, trillions of dollars or euros were in bank accounts and not getting any interest. But what was worse is they had to pay interest to put their money in the bank account. It's almost like as if they're uneducated and they don't even know that there's options derivatives where they could have created synthetic bonds and collected some type of interest from it. But you were around when I was making jokes about that and how ridiculous it is, right? You can tell the crowd. Yeah, exactly. And this is also all we're seeing now is the punishment from it, having zero interest rates too long. So, don't have zero interest rates and it'll go away. Stop spending money, more than we take in. It'll go away. That's it. Nothing more than that. It is not rocket science. It is plain, simple add and subtraction. If a government takes in a euro, then the government is not allowed to spend more than a euro. Plain and simple. In the United States right now, we're at record. We're taking in more tax money than we've ever taken in before. Mr. Trump's tax policy situation is still alive. Biden has not been able to turn it off. He's only been able to slow it. And so this year, or last year, they took in more tax money than they've ever taken in before. He hasn't been able to raise taxes. Biden is dying to raise taxes. And so, but what they're doing is, for every dollar that comes in, they're spending $1.29 here in the States. $1.29. It's like, stop spending the 29 cents. You won't have inflation. It's simple. Not rocket science. It's adding and subtracting. If you take in $1.50, spend $1.50. If you take in 75 cents, spend 75 cents. But you can't take in $1 and spend $1.29. Plain and simple. All right, let's see what else. Where are we at? Let's get back to let's go back to the euro. We've seen where the dollar index is, and let's see. Let me just double check over here. I just want to take a quick look at it. Is that up there? Yeah, that's the Swiss. So let me just take a quick look at dollar index again, and then we're going to get out of here. Yeah. So the dollar. Is that dollar? Yeah, that's dollar. So dollar popped up yesterday, and it's trying to back off a little bit today. Now, I think the dollar is going to go down. That's where I see it all. I see the dollar going down. Now, this very extraordinary, crazy, mismanagement situation is just making it look like the dollar is going to go up, but it's not. The dollar is going to find a way to go down because the policies of other countries are starting to slip into the right direction. It's taking a lot of work to do it. Also, the dollar is just way overvalued. It's an overvalued product. It should be in the 90s, 96, 95, something of that nature. Not at 104. It's just way too high. All right, let's take a look at the euro now. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. You see 2 days down, and we go over to here, and we see Mr. and Mrs. Euro right there. You know, kind of try to pick itself up and get going. You can see it's trying to lift up with 2 red dots, just like we have on J4X, 2 hinkies, red. And let's see, what else can we say about all this? You see the weekly underneath. Keep on thinking we're going to find it. This is going to be the base, and it starts to lift back up again. And we've just, right over in here, no more than like 4 months ago, we were at record low prices. So you'd have to assume that it's starting to dig its heels in, you know. You could take a look at the DAX. Sure, let's look at the DAX. We haven't had anybody ask about the DAX in a while. I think we'd have it on it as an ETF. You know, most of the European stock indices have been pretty firm and have gained much more than the U.S. stock indices over the last 9 months. I know that the FTSE's been that way too. Let's see, let's go to there. Let's get the DAX up there. Used to have the DAX up there. You weren't around, no one asked for it. It was so sad. Me so sad. Let's do this. Let's get rid of that. Let's grab this, make a copy of it, and we'll put it in there. Let's make a copy of it. Paste. There we are. Now, the DAX. I heard they were up today. Yeah, I think they were. Let's see. Let's try it right there. DAX. D-A-X. Oh, okay. D-A-X. There we go. Now you see here it's been, now this is kind of interesting. Yeah, that's right. That's what I used it for. Okay, so we move that over one. Goes into the buy there for a couple days, goes back down there. You can see it's been in the sell now for a couple weeks. And then we got the waterfall here. This was a nice buy here. Let's see, we can move this gets moved over one, right? Yeah, right to there. Matter of fact, I think it's even further. Let's move that red line out of the way because it's not a sell there either. I guess that's the original buy right there. We can move this out of the way. And let's see what else. Can we see all that? Let's see, who else do we move? That's right. That's right. That was a good long buy here. That was good. There's your sell again off of that peak. And it goes right back into the buy again. And we were in the buy all the way up until here. And then we went into the sell. There's a sell. Buy, sell, buy. I mean, buy, sell, buy, sell. Let's put the weeklies in there. Pink. Solid. There we are. There's the buy. In and out, in and out. You know, at one point, it really did look like the stock market was going to try to make a nice move on the upside across the planet. Come on, get in there. Oh, wrong color. There we are. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the rates in the end, but I'm expecting something logical that everybody agrees to. They must be talking to money managers. There's got to be a lot of telegraphing going on. You know, they've got to be talking to a lot of people. right now, trying to make sure they make the right decision. You know. There we go. Yeah, nearly all-time highs in the last week. I know it's you know the U.S. stock market. Well, that was interesting is that the Nasdaq started to make a good run too, whereas the S&P was moving slower. And but I know the FTSE and the DAX was really making good charges onto the upside. All right, we get rid of that. Now today, obviously is that right? Let's just double check. That is 13th, 14th, 15th. Let's see if we can get the 16th in there. Today's the 16th, right? Yeah, 16th. So it's a setting thing we got to do. Maybe it's got to be 24-hour. See if that does it. No, they're not. Let me see if I'm getting a quote on it too at the same time. See if they're trading it. I know they've got to be trading it. There you are. Yeah, I got it offered at $29.78, and there's a $27.08. They're actually not trading it, which is kind of interesting. I guess they're waiting for the ECB news to come out. That's what it seems to me. The ECB seems to want to catch up with the Fed right now. Yeah, exactly. Now, are you getting a quote on DAX? What's DAX doing? Let me go over to here. I can do that. I just realized I can do that. Let's just go over to here, and let's see if we can get a quote. Let's see, bonds. Now here's the bond market, of course, but I want to see the indice market. U.S. markets, currencies. Let's see, pre-markets. Here we go. And so let's see if we can see what prices you got DAX going at the moment. Cancel. Oh boy, it is Kramer getting clobbered. Thank goodness, as usual, that it's being seen. Let's see. Okay, so you can see Nikkei down last night. There's the DAX up 85. The FTSE's up 49, and we're down a little bit here in the States. Where's it? You can see that the S&P 500 is down 12. Is it? That's it right there, down 12. The Dow's down at 121, and the Nasdaq keeps on fluctuating back and forth, the plus to minus, because that's a much more aggressive. Where's it at? Right there. Right there. There it is. It's down 5 3/4. So there it is. Now it's up. It's up 5 3/4. It's the tech stocks are really showing some life, but the DAX itself. Let's see if we can put the chart up for the DAX. There's the DAX, and you can see there, yeah, it was moving along so much better, coming off those October lows. It did a really great job. It lifted up. It's just this noise right here. It'll straighten out. They're going to resolve this whole thing. Everything will be resolved. Oop. Let's move that over like that. There we go. Yeah, it's like a big giant trading range. When's the ECB is supposed to come out and make an announcement on rates? That's what's got everybody told ministers EU banks could be vulnerable. Oh, okay, no, that's not good. Sometimes they say strange things. ECB told ministers some EU banks could be vulnerable. Why do they say stuff like that? I don't get it. It's like, well, yeah, there's always going to be somebody vulnerable. And so that's where we stand with that. And then they're not even trading the ETF in the States right now. I'm not even getting, okay, now we've gotten it. Now we're offered about 62 cents higher. So it's up around here at the moment. We can put that in and get a flavor for it. Excuse me. Let's see, where's it at? ARCA. Not there. Smart. Yep, there it is. And let's put the price in there. And you'll see it on the chart here in a few seconds. almost there. You'll be able to see this in a few seconds with our math, what it's going to look like today. And here we go. Yeah, so that's it right there. That's where I'm getting quotes for it right now up in the 76 area. So, and I imagine the weekly will start to turn up. Let's see what that does. Yeah, see the weekly's also making a move up, and the fast moving algorithm, we're using a fast moving algorithm against a slow moving algorithm at this time too. 47, that's what the little blue dottish line is. We use it on the weeklies. So in other words, in a situation like this, the sell comes in here and then it goes into a buy here, and both got across. But if the dotted line had not, then it wouldn't have been a buy, but it did. It got into the buy, got across to the buy there, and then fell right back down through the zero line, both of them. And then once they get to here where they break the manifold, that's the official sell. We don't put it in normally until the end of the week though, right there on the end of it. So coming in, it was in a sell. All right, that's where we're at with the DAX. I hope that helped you out a little bit. Let's see, what else can we say about any of this at this point. If not, we can go driving towards, where were we at? We left off at the euro. Let's go to the British pound and see what the British pound's looking like this morning. And there's the pound. Pound is pretty much flat. You know, they knocked it down yesterday, and now they're trying to lift up. We're in a daily sell for a second day. Let's steal one of these daily sells. Like that. Just put it there. And so we're just pushing down into the daily sell. The weekly is vacillating. It just missed it by a few ticks, and it's still having its issues. The fast is moving up above the zero line, and the slow, or the green one, which we normally follow, is just heading down. Ambrose, where do you get those indicators? I invented them back in 1977. No problem, 47. Glad to see you in the house. Welcome back to the hood. And so we invented these indicators back in 1977, started to incorporate them into the markets. I invented them for deal with the Higgs boson, so that's why they can get very minute. I was not a big fan of accelerators or the Higgs boson. All they did is readjust the differential equation to atomic theory so that they could have a field theory in the end, and that's the Higgs. That's what the Higgs was there for, is to basically try to justify string theories minus a field. They needed a tensor of a field. All right, so you can see it here all the time. We have on J4X, we emulate some of the characteristics because we smooth our math with a stochastic. And so what we do is we have a fast stochastic here, that's the green, matching up against a slow stochastic. So they simulate a lot of our math. But but unfortunately, this is a couple hours behind in the sense of reading the math that well. And this is way better than anything out there public-wise. It's just so far I've not found anything that competes with my math in the public arena. And at the same time here, you can see the Hinky-Ashke bars emulate the dots to a great extent. And again, they have a lag of a few hours. So, but Ambrose, you know, we're here every day. You're welcome to tune in and ask questions anytime. We love, the more questions, the better. All right. From there, where do we go? Let's go take a look at. We looked at the Swiss. We'll just give it a quick peek again. There's the Swiss, you know, kind of getting back in order after the Bank of Switzerland, the central bank itself, you know, jumped in to help out Credit Suisse. Let's see. We don't talk about it too much since we've been talking about it for like 3 months now here about Credit Suisse, so it's not a surprise. Um, let's see. This is, the Swiss. You can see that they're turning up where we were getting in. We were in the weekly sell. It was underneath it. We were down in this area, but now we've gotten it turned up. We'll see how long this lasts. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the week we're back down into the 91s again. So, especially if we get into a sell over the next day or two, that would be nice. Now from there we jump over to the yen, which was very interesting. They seem to be almost like running ahead yesterday, pretty well. It was very impressive. And I'll put it there. You guys on J4X, you can see right there all the red. You see they're down at the bottom end of the range. Oh, no problem. We love questions. We think here, this is our attitude about it all, about questions. There are no dumb or stupid questions when talking about money and trading. There are only long answers or short answers. That's it. And let's put it up over there. Yesterday they did. We saw it trying to lift up, and then it broke back down again. So that's pretty cool. And so it's staying in that cell. The weekly is piercing. You can see here the manifold, and the fast moving has already dropped underneath the minus manifold itself. So we call this, and Bruce, we call this a nonlinear time manifold. We invented that also. I was inventing my own field. I didn't need an accelerator or the Higgs to develop a new field. And that's what you see here, same thing on it. This is the daily. The center chart is the daily. The bottom chart is the weekly. And so we have a idea around here is that when we're in a weekly buy, you can take buy signals and ride them. But don't take the sell signals, take profits off the sell signals, but don't go short. Because if we're in the overall trend of up, then you'll probably, like in this case here, it goes into the sell for a few days and then bounces back up again. But then if we go into a weekly sell and we're in a sell, you'd be short. So in other words, they must line up together. I hope that helps out. All right. From there, let's see. What's wrong with the vice president's husband? Harris's husband in hot water. Russian jet. Okay. So anyhow, that is what's going on there with the yen. And it looked like this time maybe we get into the 125 region. How can I use these? How can you use it? Well, you mean how do you read them? How to read them, or how do you use them personally? We'll let you answer that one. And I'll keep on rolling along, and when the answer comes up, I'll come back to your answer. Let's see, where is that at? It's here somewhere. I have a way of, personally. Okay, here we go. This is where you can go. Right there. So, now let's go over to J4X, and let's go to the Turkish lira. Euro Turkish lira. Right there. And you can see it went into the sell yesterday here. You can see the line breaking through. And then we go over to, where's that at? Okay. We go over to here. Look at the Turkish lira. And, where's that mousey at? There we go. Let's just go like this. I hope that answers your question there. Let's just move that over for a second. As you can see here, Turkish lira breaking down, and we'll get rid of that now. I hope you saw that. And you can see it in the video too when it's put on the video. Chicago Quant Technologies. Excellent. I can get rid of it. All right. So you can see here, Turkish lira, just kind of hesitating. It's become extremely illiquid over the last 6 months. We're real disappointed in that situation. That's why we don't even look at the dollar Turkish lira. Oh, .com, yeah. Thank you, Robin. And so, what else can we say about the Turkish lira? Just that it's trying to break down again. Let's take a look at it on a weekly basis here. You see it's an upwardly momentum going on there, and we're still in the weekly sell here. That's why sometimes, this kind of lags sometimes. Sometimes it can be spot on, but this is the best public indicators you're going to find out there, using the Hinky Ashkeys and a slow and fast moving stochastic against each other. All right, then from there, let's go over to the two currencies. Oh, and anybody that wants to see any particular product, you don't have to just listen to me. You can just, like the way 47 did. He said, hey, I want to go see DAX. I stop what I'm doing. I go show you the DAX. So in other words, we're going to go through a rhythm here solely because no one's asking questions. That's it. I mean, I don't have to do these things the same way every day. To me, it's, I like variety. Variety is the spice of life. There's CAD. CAD popped up a little bit yesterday. It's still hanging in there and trying to get into a buy today. Normally when the CAD goes up in value, that means it's losing against the dollar, and at the same time that means that the energy sector is going down. Excuse me there. So let's take a look at the new spot oil. And what's it doing? It's going down. And what is the Canadian doing? Let's put Canadian up on J4X. The Canadian has been finding ways to go up. It's trying to press up. It was going up for a couple of days, popped down, and it's still trying to go back up. And then at this point, it's not taking that out, of course, but whereas this is taking out some great lows. And we talked about this no more than 24 hours ago and 48 hours ago when it was in the 70s. That we've been in a daily sell since here. And so, we're expecting to see the low 60s because I mentioned it yesterday, there's a HR1. It's a bill working its way through the House of Representatives. It looks like it'll be passed, and then it'll probably go to the Senate and get passed. And then Mr. Biden is going to veto it or have to vote or sign it. And what it does is it opens up the oil market. So people will know that Mr. Biden doesn't want oil to be cheap. And so that will put him in a very tough situation. He'll have to do one or the other, because H oil. Okay, well here's oil right there. So there's the spot oil right there, and there's the Canadian trying to bounce up. And let's put oil up on J4X too. Matter of fact, we can throw Brent up there for you. Where's Brent? I just saw it. There it is. There's Brent. Working the same way as our work is. This is West Texas Intermediate. You can see we're sliding into a sell again here. We for the last couple of days we've been saying we're looking for 62, 63 in it because it looks like this. When on a weekly, let's widen this out and show it to you. Let's see, where's that mouse at? Right there. And let's just widen this out. When the weeklies manifolds are breached, like they are right here. The odds are 99% it's going to close in a sell at that point. And so we're in a daily sell. Tells you that the weakness is there. So we were saying that, matter of fact, on Monday we saw that. We were like, wow, you can be short. It's going to go down below 70. Well, it's even gone even further now. We're at, what was yesterday's low? Yesterday's low was 65? Is that 65? 65.79. Today we're trading at 67, basically $2 higher. But right now it's flirting with the lows of the day. So that's the oil, and we usually compare it to the Canadian, like we take the South African rand and we compare it to gold. So when gold is rising, South African rand is usually losing against the dollar. Ever since the political issue that kicked up down there, it's kind of messed it up a little bit, but overall, you can see it was on a downwardly projection until yesterday because of the wild economic news, and now it's starting to break down again. Everybody has that distortion in their charts from yesterday. And so that's the gold. Now, we go over to Mexican peso, which is right there, which I was mentioning yesterday. We're hearing that they may join the BRICS. That may be part of the problem. why it's moving up and losing against the dollar is that the BRICS are a really weak financial system. You're talking about Russia and China to begin with. Neither of them, one doesn't even have a currency, international currency. They just have an exchange rate. Now that's China. At least Russia has a ruble and it's floating around. You can trade it. And then you have the Brazilian real in the BRICS, and that's not exactly very solid. You can't. It's very hard to even get quotes on the Brazilian real. And then you go over to was it the South African rand? You might as well trade the gold instead. Why buy the rand when you can trade gold? Because gold is more easier to deal with than the currency itself, because it's got a lot of what you would call, it's discounted the currency in some ways because of politics. So then, and I'm not sure who else is trying to join that in that mess, but now that the Mexican peso is maybe going to be part of the BRICS, at least it's one of the first real currencies to be in there as far as I'm concerned. Something that's very usable. And maybe this, I mean, when you really look at this action right here, this is the announcement that they might be going into the BRICS. Look at the way the currency has moved. I mean, it's obviously there's a panic to get out. I mean, look at that move. That was nowhere near what that looks like. And that's nowhere near what that looks like. I mean, that's pretty, I would say I would refer to that as very blunt, very sharp. I mean, you don't see that type of action. You see it here. This is back in, when is that? That is back in the summer of 22. You see a move like that. Coming off of the 3-year lows right there. So, I don't know. We're going to have to watch how this goes, if they're really going to be part of the BRICS. And if they're going to be part of the BRICS, there could be some problems with the currency, because the BRICS, it'll be the strongest currency in the BRICS if it joins the BRICS. Let's put it that way. It's going to be the strongest and best currency in the BRICS. All right. From there, anything else you'd like to see, Ambrose? From there, we can go over to, well, we can keep on, we can do the energy still. Let's take a look at, where's it at? Let's take a look at natural gas. There's nat gas. You see nat gas went into the sell yesterday. That was kind of interesting. We went up into the buy up in here. We were through the manifold here, and the green and the fast got into the buy. We got into the daily buy. It was a nice little move up, and then it confirmed it at the close of that, but it was right there. And then we break down. It takes a couple of days. This was very interesting. It was like a massive speculative move up and then a slam, an enormous gap down. I guess they woke up to the fact that it had jumped across the $3 range. And so then you get, selling, going to the sell here, and it's been sloppy again. And it seems like it wants to be parked in the 2.5 area. We've talked about this, where it got down to about $1.90 something. Was that it? No, I guess it was $2.30. That's what it was. It didn't break the $2 range. But natural gas is trying to really... Oh, good. I can't wait. I'm psyched for that. Yeah, it's usually quarter after. Exactly. I am psyched. Matter of fact, why don't we do this? We're going to put the U.S. stock index up and see what it's doing in our intraday. So what do we got here? Okay, so it should be out now. So you can see U.S. stocks are breaking down here. There they go. Watch them sail south. We'll see how long that goes on for. This is our system using a fast and a slow combined together of the 3 and 5 algorithms. So the news came out right here. They sold the stocks down a little bit. That's the S&P 500. So it fell from the 12 area to the evens, I guess you could say. Now let's see if it tries to bounce back up again. So far, once it breaks below the 0 line, it went into the sell right here. Right there it went into the sell. And it's been in the sell all the way down. They both have to line up. Like here, see, it's trying to get into the buy now. Let's see if the green tail disappears with it. When the green tail, okay, look at that. Now if that closes there, and it's very close to closing, that's a buy. So it's in a buy now. And we'll see how they pick this thing up. See if it goes up and challenges the 05 area. And there's 2s and 1s and 3s. Not 3s yet. Didn't touch 3. There's 3. 3 1/4. 3 touched 4. Let's see if we can touch the 5s. 5. There's your 5. Bingo! You saw it live. This is Doc. Live as usual. Just doing it in front of your face. Live. Okay, having fun. Sorry, guys and gals. Just having some fun. What'd they do? Did they increase it? 5 bips? Huh. Okay, and I guess they're going to put an announcement out? Like, they're not going to be doing it as aggressive anymore, or what? I guess that's what we have to wait for now, is the next shoe to drop. I would think that the U.S. will raise ours next week 1/4 and then make some type of big announcement about starting to look at all the numbers for a while and let them work, that type of thing. So, and here it went into the sell right there off of this one, and we rolled over. Now we're fighting to get into the buy again. And in a few seconds, it's in a buy again now. See if it goes up and touches the blue line. Go, 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 go. No cheering in trading. I'm just going to stop cheering. So I'd imagine that's the way it rolls at this point. I would think they're going to find a way to calm the markets down interest rate-wise. Solely because it's fracturing some of the poor invested. In other words, the banks and institutions that are not too smart, and they're doing goofy things, Now this buy signal is a very sloppy one. Look at it. It's taking a lot of work to get going. And it's still in the buy from this point right here. We went into the buy there, and so it went up a little bit, went down a little bit, and now it's still in the buy and it's still climbing. And see how the green, let's widen this out for you. Just to, so it's like you can see how the little green tail is above the 0 line. They need to be together. So the moment that it went plus totally right there, that was the buy signal. How is that? Is that good stuff, Ambrose? 47. Well, 47's been seen for years. 47's been around a long time. I'm like the fire extinguisher. When things get crazy, 47 comes in and visits to see what's going on. Oh, good. The press conference is in 20 minutes. Looking forward to it. The U.S. market opens up in 12 minutes. So, what it did? Let's see what it did to the DAX. I've got the DAX still quoted in the 2776 area. So, alrighty. Now from and Ambrose, if you're wondering, Robin and I traded in the Chicago pits. Robin and I put together almost have 100 years of experience in the trading markets. And from there, where do we go from there? I guess we went into the sell right here. So it's in the sell there. And it didn't do much of a sell-off. It just was a nice little profitable trade. If you do your stops and everything right for intraday trading, usually you break even or make money. It's usually once in a while you lose a little bit. It happens once or twice here out of every 10 times. So it's still in the sell and it's still finding ways to go down. Alrighty. Let's see. Seems to go down, but not decisive. Yeah, it just kind of... I don't think there's a lot of... We used to call it conviction. There's not a lot of conviction in the market, really. I mean, they're getting excited about 1% moves and 1.5% moves. A normal day should be a 1% move. So when the Dow is down or up 300 points, that should be a normal day. Why they get excited like as if the world is coming to an end, I haven't, it just seems so foolish. Yeah, you know what I mean? It does seem very foolish. So, all right. We're getting ready to go back into a buy now. Some from the sell of right here. Let's see if it does it. Not so far. It's trying. You got green dots. You got the fast above the 0 line, but the slow is below. So the pressure is still on. Let's see if they make another nice little low. What is the low today? Today's low is 96.75. We're gonna. Looks like they're trying to go after that, aren't they? 98. Just $1.25 more lower makes it the low of the day. Look at this. Buyers are coming in. I think it. Wait a minute. It went into a buy. Did it go into a buy? It went into a buy. 08, 10, and 5, and then it went into a sell, and it's still in the sell. So it went into the buy and failed. There's a loss right there. Got to lose once in a while, traders. We can't be perfect. And then we're in the sell now. We're still in the sell from here. Let's see if it goes down. What's the low there? The low is 87.50. So a block came in and drove it down. Let's see if they get into a buy and they'll make the money back for us. Let's see. Nothing so far. Still in a sell. Still in a sell. There we go. Now it's going to get into the buy. Nope. Not yet. Almost. It's in the buy. Let's see what they do. Let's see if we can see it make it back three points. So let's see if it goes to 92. Let's see. Nothing so far. Nothing up my sleeve. Nothing so far. We're watching it hesitate back and forth. Oh, we're going to go into a sell. Another loss possibly? 2 in a row. Let's see what this does. Let's see if it makes it 6 cents. So does it go down to 92 now? 2 losses in a row is a rarity. Now it's back into a buy again. Now it's got to go. Has to go to 97. Has to go up to 97. To make up for those losses. And we will see if it does that. I see. Yesterday the DAX went down 3%. Now 3% I take serious. I do. I really believe that 3% means something's going on. But yesterday was more of a panic, so it's hard to believe that it's a general trend. You know what I mean? To me, that's the way I view it. I view it that I always say that too. I've been saying that for the last couple of years. 3% means I'm paying attention. But 1.5 to 1.75 percentage point, it just is not. It just isn't the. It's not abnormal. 1%, 0.5%, 0.75%, 1%, 1.25%. That's a normal day as far as I'm concerned. The media seems to want to treat it the other way around. I'm just watching to see what's going on here with the opening in about 4 minutes. We're really seeing some real choppy work here today. They really don't know which way to go, but I'm thinking it's going to go to the 97 myself. Let's see. It's hard to see 3 in a row wrong. Whoa, we lost it. Let's get it back again. There we are. So there's the 92. Let's see if it gets to that 97 we were talking about. I'm not 97, 07, I'm sorry. 03. There's 4. There's 5. Now me, when I'm intraday trading, I take the 4s or the 5s with no problem and get half my money back and start over again. That's the way I like to do it. Let's see if it gets back to the 4 again. And that would be the way I do it. And so in other words, if I take 2 hits in a row like that, I got to make some money back. So when it gets even close to where the target should be, it still may go to 97, but I don't wait for it. I take it and go for the next signal. The dollar popped up. I guess, increasing rates at this point seems to be shooting ourselves in the foot. It's all government policy at this point. That's what the problem is. In other words, it's too much spending. We talked about it at the beginning of the webinar. we're taking in $1 of taxation and we're spending $1.29. And all the governments across the planet are to some extent or another, are all being very ferocious about spending. They just keep on spending money, and they just refuse to accept anything more than the idea that they just keep on doing it, and they refuse to stop doing it, and that's what the issue is, and and that's the way it rolls. So, and until they can get the politicians under control, that's what the problem is. Looks like we're going to get into a sell again here. Like I said, I would have taken the 4 or 5 and just start it over again and then go play for the next move. Just in other words, at this point would be neutral, waiting for the next signal. In other words, let it go into a sell, refresh itself, and then go back into the buy again. And I would, I'd play the sell, or I'd play the next buy, but not jump in on this. And there's 4 again. And maybe it will hit the 97 before. I don't know why I call it 97, 907. But I think it's kind of, with the markets in the States getting ready to open in a minute and a half, there's a lot of money being pushed in both directions at this point. In other words, it's very volatile. Usually I try not to trade in the few minutes before the market opens and a few minutes after the market opens. Now it looks like it's going to go into the sell there, and the best it could do is get the 5 instead of 7. And it's in a daily sell. It's in an intraday sell now as we speak. And we'll see how the U.S. market gets rolling, and then we'll call it a day. Anybody want to see anything else besides these things? I know that we look at silver. I don't think we looked at silver. And now it's back into a buy again. So it's very choppy this time of the day. I try to stay away from it here, but I'm willing to take the risk and leave it up there either way just for people to see it. Wouldn't be honest to just show you wins. You got to see some losses. And it's back in the buy here, 3 bars back here. It went into the buy. Let's just go to silver and see what silver's doing for a moment, and we can flash back to that. There's silver, since we saw gold. Kind of holding on firm. Been in a daily buy for a few days here. What, 5 full days. Challenging the weekly, but not really doing that good a job at it. And there's your intraday again, sitting there, as it dances its way up with about a minute and a half to go. Minute and 10 seconds. U.S. markets open up. Let's see. What else can we say about any of this? Any other product anybody would like to see before we get out of here? I will do my singing soon, if not. And we'll show you the opening. I bet it could be a very fun opening. And that was a good little buy. Went into the sell, failed, and went into the buy and made. Looks like they're going to try to push them down off the opening. Let's see. All right, then. I guess we're out of here. This is Doc from North America. Catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and smart day.